What do you think is at stake in this fight? Because I don't know how. I mean, we can only speculate, but I don't know how excited the UFC is about booking a fourth Shevchenko Grasso fight, just based on the sort of excitement factor in that last one. You would imagine maybe Manon Fiorot is at the top of the ladder now for the next title shot. Do you think like a good showing here might push you in a slot where if the timing works out and the scheduling lines up that you might be next in line?
I would still feel, even with a good performance, well, we could cross that bridge when we get to it, but I feel like I'd still feel bad for some reason if
Yeah.
if I jumped her. But that's just kind of I don't know. I am a person of integrity, so I do feel like she deserves to be
I
next in
like that
line.
a
She's
lot.
been kind of waiting. So, although I do know that like I don't know where her head is at, if she's like saying no to offers, then yeah, that's not a thing to do either. Like if the UFC wants her to fight again, then she should do that. But ultimately, like the UFC is kind of the judge of that, and it's up to me to have a really good performance as well, to make that case.
No, I mean it's not something you hear a lot of fighters say, so I do appreciate that as someone who
Yeah,
often, it's prize fighting. It's not always a 1-to-1, but I
yeah,
like it when the person who's sort of in that position gets the title
yeah.
shot.
And it kind of
Uh,
depends too who's healthy, right? Like maybe Shevchenko isn't healthy, maybe me and Manon do an interim belt or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah.
could I get a very quick breakdown? Like, what's the biggest threat here that Erin possesses in this fight, and where do you think you might give her some trouble?
Um, I think her biggest asset is like she wants to grapple. Like she has really good grappling. So I think I'd say that's her biggest strength. And then as far as for me, what was the other part of the question? You said
Yeah, just
what?
where do you each have the biggest advantage?
Oh, I believe that I'm the better mixed martial artist, and yeah, I think that I'm superior in every area in an MMA fight in regards to being able to mix it all up, and yeah, so that's what I feel.
I was watching the CTV News interview that you did like maybe like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and you had mentioned sort of one of the things you're looking forward to in this fight is there have been a lot of moving parts in your life that have sort of
Mhm.
settled down. Would you be willing to share anything about like what some of those factors were that were kind of keeping you occupied and busy?
Let's say that one more time. Sorry.
Can you tell? Would you be willing to share some of the things that were not settling down at the time that have since sort of
Which
chilled out?
which what time?
I don't know. You said that there were some. You kind of vaguely said to CTV News that there were moving parts in your life that have kind of settled down, and that's allowed you to be
Oh,
a little more present and focused this time.
as opposed to like last fight.
Yeah,
Oh, trying to think what that was. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, well, yeah, I'll have to think about that. I think, I,
that's
I
okay.
think, because going into the last one, I felt pretty like, good as far as just like everything in my personal life, and I just feel like it's even more so, like kind of settled in. Like I kind of have figured out like a whole, um training, I guess, like team atmosphere and everything like that is really good. And spiritually, I'm just kind of like really, I think that's the main thing, and everything kind of just flows from that. And yeah, I would say there's certain, I guess, like partnerships and things too that I've kind of
Mhm.
like decided to like not go forward with anymore. So I felt like that was kind of, and not for any personal reasons, but for spiritual reasons as well. So it's just like I feel ultimately like so much, um what is it? I don't know, just like like I don't have that guilty conscience of like, oh, is this
Nice.
like, am I not supposed to be doing this, or am I just feel very free and pure from like any type of I guess, like, because I believe in the Bible, and it's like we're not supposed to be unequally yoked to unbelievers. And so to me, it's like, and that always kind of, you have to interpret it how, apply it in your life how you need to. But I feel like that's just more and more true, as I walk in my faith more and more.
Last thing before we finish up on some rapid fire. Ahead of the last fight when we last spoke,
Sure.
you had mentioned that after that fight you'd be willing to open up a little bit more about what contributed to you and Trevor going your personal ways. It's okay if that's changed, but I just thought I'd
Yeah.
ask and see if you'd be willing to share a little more.
Um, you know, I'd rather not just
Mhm.
because yeah, it's I love him, I pray for him every day, but I guess more and more like just where my spirituality is, it's like that's probably not the best thing to I think that's a personal conversation that has to happen, and it still hasn't happened. So yeah.
Okay.
So I would rather leave that in personal matters, yeah. But I do love him and I pray for him every day. Yeah.
Totally fine. Let's finish on this. I always like to do something a little out of the box. I have a little segment whipped up here called Thug or Not. And as
Yeah.
Thug Rose, I feel like you are the foremost professional on the matter. I'm going to paint you a handful of scenarios, and I just want you to tell me if that situation, if that person is Thug or not. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You walk off every time you knock down an opponent. Thug or not. Even if you don't get
Thug.
the KO, you still walk off.
Oh, Thug, yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
You refuse to cry in front of others unless you're watching a Disney movie.
Not. Thugs can cry.
Yes, I agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree. You're undefeated in MMA, but you've never finished an opponent.
Not.
Okay,
Come
good.
on now, you gotta have a finish. Come on, man.
This is a shout out, unfortunately, to one of my close friends, who is matured but was once an idiot. You
Yeah.
dive headfirst into bodies of water without knowing how deep it is.
Ooh, that's just stupid. I would say not.
Shout out to Alex. Now you know.
Yeah.
Last one. You point down in the center of the octagon to brawl, but you don't plant your feet. You
Yeah.
move.
Not. Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like, I mean, it kind of depends on how you mix it up, but you should probably plant your feet. So I'd say not.
All right, good. You know
There
what?
might be an exception. Yeah.
I tried to do something similar to this with Sean Strickland, and it was a total mess. So thank you, Rose. What up, guys? Quick disclaimer here. So, unfortunately, we had a bit of a tech issue with Rose's video during the first half of this interview. Her audio still works, everything else is cool. So, what we did is we flipped it so that the second half of the interview played first. You just saw that. Now, we got the rest of the interview. Don't worry about that, but we're going to overlace it with some other kinds of visuals to keep it entertaining. Just wanted to give you guys the forewarning on that. My bad. Enjoy the rest of the interview. How highly would you rank that eyelash moment with Tracy Cortez among like the weirdest things that you've witnessed while in a fight?
Yeah, it's funny because like during the fight, I didn't see the eyelash. I just saw her eye look kind of weird because my vision's kind of blurry. So like I could tell something was weird with her eye, but I couldn't tell that the eyelash was off. So it wasn't until after that I was like, wow, that's crazy. I wish like I would have finished her right there because that would have been for sure the ultimate highlight.
What's your vision like when you're fighting? Like, is it
Um,
just the fine details are a little blurry?
yeah, the fine
Okay, so
details,
something like
like
that.
it's mainly like reading words like
Yeah,
from a
yeah.
distance. That's what that like driving at night, I should probably wear glasses. Um, but I choose to yeah, I can see my opponent just fine. It's just like yeah, the little details that I don't really need to see.
Well, shout out to Shara Bullet and Michael Bisping, who definitely cannot. But hey, they
Yeah.
find their way to success either way.
Yeah.
Um, Edmonton is a particularly interesting card, and that is because for the first time ever, 12 to 6 elbows will be legal under
Yeah.
the new unified rules. Grounded opponents now have to have something other than their hands and their feet on the mat, so the two-hand thing isn't going to cut it anymore. Has that influenced at all the way you've been training and preparing for this fight? I know obviously we're looking at the totality of the game, but is that something you've had to sort of train into your system because old habits die hard sometimes?
Yeah, I think I guess there's like some things that I've thought about like just from like a front headlock position. I think that's
Mhm.
probably the least like I'd say probably the area in which that probably might matter the most just because it's not like anywhere else in the fight. I feel like I don't know. You just like the thing is for me, it's like I just got to protect myself at all times, right?
Hmm.
And that's how I normally just view the fight, anyways. Like I never really paid attention. Every time the referee would come to me and in the back locker room right before my fights, and they'd say all these rules and oh, it's like here and there, not there, and I'm just like. I'm just blanking out when he's talking. And he's like, "You understand?" I'm like, "Yep." And I'm just like, "It is what it is." Like, I just realized like, and there's been times in the fight where, yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where you just kind of have to be prepared for everything. But I have thought about like little scenarios, like where could this matter? And to me, the main thing that I just keep thinking of is like it seems like the only times it will really matter is like kind of in a worst case scenario type of a thing
Hmm.
where, or in a best case scenario, like if I have her in a situation, am I gonna like think about, oh, can I need, it's like, I don't know. I'm probably not gonna, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I think from the front headlock position, I think
That's a
that's
big
just
one.
like because a lot of the
Hmm.
times I would just kind of like 4 point stand up and from certain situations, whereas like I might take my time more to
Yeah.
stand up from a front headlock just because of a knee potentially. And even then it's kind of like if you just do it quickly, you know, you'll probably be fine.
I want to let you have the last word. So very quickly for me, guys, thanks so much for watching. Tap the bell, thumbs up, subscribe, give us your official prediction. Rose Namajunas, Erin Blanchfield, the co-main event for UFC Edmonton on Saturday. Also, feel free to break down those scenarios I painted, thug or not. If you disagree with Rose, you're probably wrong, but I'd like to hear your opinion anyway. Rose, if there's anything you want to tell the people, the floor is yours.
No, just I guess just enjoy the show, guys, and thank you so much for all your support and thank you for this interview.